I've heard from Nick Wright that uh, Kobe Bryant uh, was never the best player in the game. What he says is that LeBron James has been the best player in the league for about 13, 14 years. He says that as of last year, Giannis has taken that spot. But his contention is that from 2007, basically, when LeBron, with his 48 point special, from 2007 until about last year, LeBron has been the best player in the league. And, you know, he, uh, I'm going to do a video one day and try to explain why uh, stats um, are overrated. I've tried to do that in other videos, but to Nick Wright, the player with the best stats is the best player. Okay. So since LeBron has had the best stats, uh, he conflates that with being the best player, and it's really ridiculous. You know, he doesn't really have an appreciation or an understanding that some stats are more important than others. Throwing people the ball from the top of the key is not as impactful as being able to stay in front of Kevin Durant. It's just not. Anybody can pass Kyle Korver the ball. Okay, not many people can stay in front of Kevin Durant. Okay. By the way, Kobe's defense against Kevin Durant was much better than LeBron's. If you want the stats, I'll give them to you. Um, in the 2000, the bubble championship, Anthony Davis was the leading scorer for the Lakers. He was the best defender for the Lakers, and he was the best rebounder. Historically, the most important components to a championship team are defense, scoring, and rebounding. Anthony Davis was the Lakers' leading defender, scorer, and rebounder last year or during the bubble championship. But LeBron got the finals MVP, so he's the quote, best player in the game still. He is not the best player in the game. So let's talk about being the best player in the game. Here is a chart of the first 21 players, the top 21 players ranked by Basketball References Hall of Fame probability. It's a sort of a lazy ranking of the greatest players ever. Okay. Um, there's some debate. Obviously, Kareem is at the top of this list, but most people consider Kareem, LeBron, and Michael Jordan to be the top three players ever. We know that that isn't true, but I digress. So these are the top ranked players by top ranked players in top 21 players. So essentially, I mean, if you look at these players, these are the people. If people come up with a top, let's say 15 all time, they're going to come up with some variation of these players. Um, Larry Bird's usually ranked a little higher, but you know, but anyway, alrighty. And of course, affixed to this list is the finals record for each one of these players. Okay? Now, I want you to pay attention to the top 5 names on this list. Okay? And I want you to take out LeBron James. So the top 4 names on this list. Okay? So we certainly will agree that if Kobe wasn't the best player in the league, he was one of the best players of the league for a time. Okay? And we certainly can agree that Kareem, Michael Jordan, Bill Russell, best players in the league for significant periods of their career. Okay? Uh, if you take out LeBron, the finals record, the cumulative finals records of the top 5 players on this list, okay, is 28-7. Now, Wilt Chamberlain is a player of whom has I have the same criticism that I have of LeBron, bad intangibles, 2-4 in the finals. Look at the next 4 players. 5-1, Tim Duncan. Now, what Nick Wright says is, well, maybe Kobe, between let's say 2005 and 2006, he shared it with Tim Duncan. All right, there's Tim Duncan, 5-1. Shaquille O'Neal, 4-2. John Havlicek, 8-0 in the finals. Oscar Robertson won his only finals. Bob Cousy, 6-1. If you were to rank LeBron James's finals record among the greatest players in NBA history, it would rank 16th of 21 players. And in fact, there's only 2 other players that have 2 more finals losses than wins. Karl Malone and Jerry West. I mean, you got a bunch of people that basically 500 in final. Kevin Durant, um, Kevin Garnett. Then you got people that have 1 more loss than. But I mean, the point overall is that here we have a list of the players who, no doubt, when they played, when they were in their prime, they were clearly the best players in the league, or certainly in the conversation. When these players got to the finals, they won. When they got to the finals, they won. And there's a very, very important reason why. When you're the best player in the league, you don't really need that much help. Ask Hakeem Olajuwon. Didn't need that much help. Okay? There is a difference between focusing on a particular tree and then stepping back from the trees and looking at the forest. When you look at this entire list as a group, you have to explain the forest. Okay? We can talk about Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West and LeBron James and say, oh, well, look at the players, look at the teams they had to play against, the 60s Celtics and, the Warriors. Okay, fine. But you have to look at the forest. Okay? Almost all of these players have winning records in the finals. It's not an accident. And I'm not so sure Jerry West was the best player in the league in the 60s. But I'll tell you this, when he finished second in the MVP voting, he won the NBA championship. So, you LeBron fans have some explaining to do. When the best player in the NBA, when they have enough help to get to the finals, Generally speaking, they win. Okay? Unless they're a stat pattern. Unless they actually aren't as good a player as their statistics suggest. Okay? Unless you're stealing points and rebounds and assists from your teammates. Okay? It's a reason. It's a reason these players generally win when they get to the finals. It's because when they have enough help to get to the finals, they're the best player, so they're going to win.